I think that's the way they're going to look at it, especially in times like now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the people, like we were just talking about, like movie theaters and stuff like that. Sports franchises, like they don't have anything else outside of that. Well, sports does, but I mean, like movie theaters, there's no other cash cows for them. So
Yeah.
this, a music division could be a little, something to bring into the fold.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think Dre separated himself.
Yeah.
Death Row.
Yeah.
With Snoop and
Right.
created his own label.
Yeah.
He got Eminem, right? I think
so,
Eminem
yeah.
was part of Death Row and he took him with him or something like that.
I can't remember. Yeah. There's a lot to all that. The story of Death Row by itself is going to be a movie at some point, I'm sure.
Right. Tupac died and then, all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's just a cash cow for them. I mean, they'll just make money off it. Just an acquisition. I don't know. Maybe they did, but I don't think they went out and just,
Yeah.
walked.
Like, I don't know. This is a weird thing because, like, I'm not part of the culture at all, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how, like, young people react to older music like that nowadays.
I don't know.
Especially like the hip hop, because like there's so much stuff that comes out, especially like with rap and stuff like that, that like I don't know who's going back and listening to the Chronic.
Yeah, I have no idea because this house would never listened to really rap music,
right?
Aside from what I put out, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not put out, but I mean what I'm playing,
right?
Like I'll throw NWA or whatever on, Chronic on or Snoop, whatever, old school shit. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that.
It seems like it's like that weird thing of like, and again, I don't know because I I'm so disconnected anymore anyway. But like with me growing up, it wasn't just about the music of my generation, but it was also about the previous generation for me. Like I loved the Doors, the Stones, the Who, music of the 70s, even like, the early 70s and stuff like that. Like I dug stuff like that. That's not my generation of music, but I loved that shit. Right. So I don't know, like I know your kids do it. I know your kids go back.
Way back.
Like they're listening to the Doors and the Stones, and well, maybe not the Stones, but they're listening to that older music though and appreciating it. And but I don't know how much of that is done by all kids or all like that generation.
Probably not
kids.
Much.
Yeah.
I'm not putting them on the pedestal or anything. I'm not, but my girls have a really good musical taste.
Yeah.
They do. Well, I shouldn't say good. I should say eclectic, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll listen to anything from The Cure to freaking,
right,
screamo to freaking whatever. I mean, they listen to everything and play everything. But a normal kid, I don't know if they go back.
Yeah.
Because I've never been around, quote, I guess, in quotes, normal kids. I mean, like, I know that sounds odd, but I mean, like, they listen to whatever we listen to, and so maybe it is. Maybe those kids go back to what their parents listened to. I don't know. I can only speak as a parent from my kids. Is they listen to everything that I listen to, and they listen to a lot of what you listen to.
Yeah.
On the new age side, especially.
Right.
Or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
New age alternative.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. New age. Yeah. New age alternative. Yeah.
Yeah. Smiths, all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So they're more actually like you than me on that aspect. More like Lisa, because I never listened to that. So yeah, they have pretty good chops for music. But like, I don't know. I'm assuming kids do. I mean, that's where the first place you hear it is with your parents, usually. Unless
Yeah,
you're
but
drums in Philly. Do 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 do. Get it back. Just kidding. Steel drums in Philly.
yeah, it's one of those oddball things where like I don't like, especially like with hip hop, they're like, I was surprised. There was some Biggie Smalls in the soundtrack for the Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, were those kids exposed, or were their kids exposed, or going back the other way, like Run DMC, Dougie Doug, I mean, all that kind of stuff. I mean, like, LL. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they were exposed to all that.
It's this weird thing of like,
assuming they were.
Yeah. Like I feel like even more so hip hop is about going forward and not looking back at the past.
Right.
And I mean, and that's an outsider's view, because it seems like that's what they do. Like, it's like, that's your music. That doesn't speak to me at all. This is what I listen to.
Right. Right.
And there's so much of that. Whereas like, when you and I were growing up, and when you get into the 90s, like, you got to a point where it was like, I didn't follow the music closely, but I knew who Dr. Dre was. I knew who Snoop was. I knew who Tupac was. I heard the music still. Like now, it's at a point, and I don't know if it's.
That was there's also an exposure end to that too.
Right.
Like we were only exposed to what we only listened to what we were exposed to.
Right.
We were young. We had the radio and MTV. Eventually, MTV, VH1, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, now it's almost over. And I wouldn't say over. How can you be overexposed to music? But I mean, like,
it's oversaturated
with everything now.
Right.
I mean, because from indie rock to YEP stuff to slow indie to death metal to, I mean, like, we weren't exposed to all those different kinds. We just weren't. Not growing up in Pittsburgh, we weren't. Our radio stations were not that.
No, but like with like MTV, like if you wanted to hear the hardcore metal, you had to stay up till 2 a.m. on a Saturday.
Yeah, but even like back then, it wasn't really hardcore metal. There was harder metal out there, but MTV didn't play it. Right. Not the heavy shit. Not like Cannibal Corpse and all that kind of shit.
No.
Like, they didn't play any of that really heavy stuff. I mean, they played.
Slayer was as hard as you got.
Right.
And that was like, you had to stay up till 2 a.m. to hear that.
Yeah. And it was just like, all right, Halloween's out there. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, like, it wasn't real. And then, you always got some Sabbath. They always put Sabbath on Headbangers Ball, but I don't, everybody knew Sabbath predated any of that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss is,
no,
heavy.
No.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, I agree.
I mean, I think it's all about exposure. I mean, there's so many avenues for people to listen to music now that, I think that's why you don't really have like the VH1 and MTV and, the top 10 and even on the radio, they don't do this because there's so much that it's just like people are all over the place. Plus with Spotify and shit like that, I don't even know really even who listens to the radio anymore.
Right.
My kids don't. They don't listen to the radio. Rarely.
No, I don't listen to the radio because I get annoyed with the commercials.
Bree listens to YEP all the time.
Yeah.
But other than that, see, that's the difference. Like you and I were listening to DVE, the X, a college station if it would come in. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And she's like, why listen? She just told me, she's like, why listen to YEP? I was like, I know. I know. Right. But it's different.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have dreamed of putting YEP on back in the day.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like 120 minutes was like the closest thing like we really got to alternative.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had the double X.
Yeah.
100.7 double X, which I listened to. And then you had 120 minutes, which is where like I found out about the Smiths, and I found out about, Gene Loves Jezebel and Echo and the Bunnymen, and all that type of stuff that then I later got to hear on the X. And I was like, well, I heard it here, or double X. I heard it here first. I was staying up late. Yeah, Depeche Mode and stuff like that. That's where
I found the Pumpkins.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's where the Pumpkins got their start, was like, because that was like still 120 minutes, and then like all of a sudden they shut that shit down. But but still, like, I mean, you're right. Like, I mean, there is like it's an oversaturation, because all you got to do is have a professionally recorded EP, and you can get it on Spotify, right? Or you put it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's stuff like that that's like you hear about, like it. I mean, I'm disconnected to a point, but the reason for my disconnect is because there's so much out there that it's not worth my time to try to keep track of it anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like you see it, like the kid from Pittsburgh that died a few years ago, that was a rapper. Like, I never even heard of him.
Right.
No clue who the kid was. He was from Pittsburgh. I was like, and that was like one of the things I took pride in for many, many years, was like, no, at least the Pittsburgh local scene. And even that's like gotten to a point where it's like, holy shit,
Right. It's different, right?
It's very different. And I mean, that's, I'm an old man, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and dip our Tony old mailbag. Mailbag. And as always, we have an email from our good friend Superfan Thad.
Okay.
Hello, my two favorite hosts like to paint each other blue and sing Smurf songs. No. For me, that'd be a lot of blue paint.
Yeah.
Sean, your Sean Connery impression sucks. It sounds like you were talking from a casket. Wow. I mean, I'm not gonna deny it was bad, but really?
All right.
I too like the first episode of The Mandalorian. How about the Marshall speeder looked like it was made out of Anakin's pod racer? Well, I just thought it was a pod racer. I didn't think it was Anakin's in particular, but maybe you're right. Lamar Jackson sucks. He's not even that good. No, I'm not going to get into that. I will say this much. I don't think the guy sucks. I just don't. I wouldn't want him as my quarterback. There's a difference.
Right.
I think you saw it in the Steeler game. Like, there was that one throw to like, I think it was Willie Snead. Like, Snead was like wide open in the middle of the field, and he underthrew it.
Right.
God, he just got no touch.